Sean, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
So I started going to the gym about a year ago, and for those of you who are listening to me, I started going to the gym a year ago because I wanted to get healthier, and I saw this guy who stood up against everybody who was there, and that's my man Sean, and he's with us today, brother. You look great. Thank you so much for being here today. Tell us a little bit about your background, brother. Where are you from? Are you from Vegas originally or not?
No, I've been here since 2007. I grew up on the East Coast, Pittsburgh, and then moved out here for work, LA, and then got transferred into Vegas. So, been here ever since.
How do you like Vegas?
I didn't like it at first. I've come to like it. My folks are retired here now. I met my wife. She's a native, so
Your wife's a native here, and your parents live here as well?
My parents retired
that's
here,
awesome.
so now I have family, and I've also seen it through the eyes of like the natives. So I feel like it's home.
What year did you move here?
2007. So
that's a lot of things have changed since then, too.
It was not a great time in real estate.
No, it was not. You know, I started in 2000. I started in 2005. I was 24 years old, and it was so hot. I mean, it was like I was selling. And I remember I said something very stupid, which I tend to say. I go, by the time I'm 30, I'll be retired. And then 2008, the crash happened, and it woke me up. But here we are. How long have you been doing bodybuilding, brother? You look incredible, by the way.
Thank you.
And I'll put some A/B shots so you guys know what I'm talking about, because I don't think you can see the physique of this guy. How long have you been doing bodybuilding?
I mean, seriously, since 2020. But I've been in the gym my whole life. I've been a gym rat.
Okay.
I guess I started as a kid. I was a scrawny little kid. Always wanted to be big, so I've always like been in the gym, like trying, but just had no instruction, and that carried into my like adult life too. So I just always in the gym, fit, but not a bodybuilder by any means.
What was the turning point in 2020 where you said, okay, I gotta really get serious on this project of mine? What was that point?
Well, we all know what happened in 2020.
Yes, I had forgotten about that a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
We all want to forget about that.
Yeah.
Leading up to that, I was in the trade show business, and so I traveled extensively for work. So I would train in hotel gyms most of the days of the week. I would go to the gym when I got home, a real gym. Very little control over what I ate, though. I tried to eat healthy as best I could, but that all came to a grinding halt. I took my last flights in February of 2020, and then the world closed.
Yeah. and then is that when you decided?
That's when.
Let me go in.
Yeah, I mean, I could take full control over this now. I can eat exactly the way I want to. I can train exactly the way I want to because I had nowhere to go.
Well, let's talk about that, because here in Vegas we have a lot of distractions. How do you maintain your focus and discipline in an environment like we have all of the best restaurants and all of that stuff? I mean,
I was a major foodie too,
okay.
When I was traveling. I think that was like one of the most my favorite things about going around. Like I would make reservations before I even got to a city.
You wanted to know the restaurants and all that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So I sort of missed that, but I think just being able to control what I was eating, 'cause if things were shut down, and so it was easy.
It was easier to do it,
yeah. It was the right
or easier to eat very badly too, because that was my kind of It depends on the view.
It depends on how you were going about it. So I didn't have those temptations, and I think once I started seeing the results, I never really wanted to
go back.
And I was fortunate to develop that discipline with food while things were shut down, so I didn't have temptation.
So, I mean, you would know about this. How important is diet?
It's paramount. I mean, it's it can completely undo anything you do in the gym.
So you cannot outwork a bad diet.
Not a chance.
And here's the other question that I have, because my girlfriend and I really get into this thing. I've always been heavier set, and I've always been wanting to, lose fat, and it wasn't until a year later where I started doing a little bit of weights and realizing, understanding the muscle is better for your body and all that stuff. How important is cardio for body fat loss?
It is not as important as people think.
Whatever.
Because she always no, because she's always, I'm doing the work, and by the time I'm finished, she goes, "Are you going to do cardio?" And I go, "I'm like, no, I'm wasted." She goes, "Well, that's no wonder you're fat."
Cardio is important, and it's most important for cardiovascular health, right?
Sure.
Your heart goes bad. You only got
You're
one.
done.
You
You're
got one
done.
chance
You're
with
one
that.
and done.
Right?
You're one and
That's
done.
the most important muscle you got. So you do need to keep that in shape. Cardio is a great way to burn calories and help you achieve that calorie deficit, which ultimately is going to get you to lose weight.
Right.
But building muscle mass is equally as important as doing cardio for fat loss, because muscle naturally takes more energy to sustain, and so you're burning more calories throughout the day with muscle mass.
So it's if you are in a training situation, it's always better to do your heavy weights first than the cardio to spend all that energy.
Yeah, if we're talking about like order of things,
Yeah, on an order of things.
definitely I would put cardio either completely separate from training. Like I just personally like to do mine in the morning fasted. It gets me going for the day. I'm awake, energized, and then I train in the afternoon.
Okay.
That's not realistic for everyone.
Sure.
It's not realistic for me every day.
Right.
So putting it after weights is better, because you don't want to go into a weight training session fatigued.
That makes total sense. You're not going to have the same energy. Bodybuilding is such a mental game, just as a physical game. How do you train your mind to stay on point, brother? Especially since you've been doing it so long, and it's such a repetition and show up. How do you stay motivated and not get distracted by just life in general,
I definitely am not motivated every day. I think I've just developed the discipline.
Okay.
And it's a whole different world from just fitness and wanting to be a fit person once you get into competitive bodybuilding. Like it requires a different level of attention.
Let's talk about that too. Yeah.
I'm driven personally by the results I see.
Yeah.
I'm goal driven. I want to make that goal. So
Sure.
that's how I get in there every single day. I lost track of the question.
No. What I'm saying is, it's like how,
Sorry.
you going and doing the physical work is a hard thing, but mindset wise, you kind of have to be so on point on it, because otherwise,
You either like it or you don't. Like
either like it or you don't.
I tried training for a marathon once, and you do these training runs in like various lengths, and you work your way up to like a marathon.
Yeah.
26.2. I got to like 10, and I was like, I hate this.
You don't like this.
I don't like this at all.
No, and that makes a lot of sense, because I'm a newbie on this. I actually enjoy going there and seeing how much I could push myself and all of that stuff, and you see the little results, and you go, oh shoot, this only took 6-7 months. Let's go for it. Do you ever burn out?
You can, I think.
Yeah.
I'm knock on wood, I have not.
Okay.
I think before I enjoyed it because it was like it was peaceful for me. It was a place I could check out.
Yeah.
I shut off. I put a focus on my phone. I shut off my work emails. No phone calls, and it was just about me for that hour that I was in there. And so I think I would feel like that's a one size fits all. Like I think
100%.
most people could resonate with that.
100%.
You're doing something for you, and
Absolutely.
it's peaceful, and you put your music
your own
on,
space.
You shut the world out.
A lot of people struggle with motivation. That's why on New Year's, the first Monday of the year, you see the gyms are usually packed. And do you believe in motivation, or is it more of building like strong habits and just keeping consistency on? What's your take on that?
It's about discipline, not motivation, and that's why the gym's empty in February. So they fill up with motivated people in January, and the motivation is gone in February. Yeah. And the people who are left aren't necessarily in there motivated. I'm not motivated every day. Some days it's the last place I want to be.
Yeah.
But my discipline has put me there. And I think why people fail is they go in too fast into something that's unsustainable. They're going to do like a fad diet. They're gonna,
Right, the fat diet, which by the
do a
way,
fat diet, or they're going to do some crazy like workout challenge, and they completely exhaust their
super
resources.
sore. Yeah, super sore. I've known you now for about a year, and you've competed like 2-3 times within like a very short time. What goes into, let's say you're going to go into a competition, brother? When does it start to get really like? Because I remember I talked to you at the gym, and you go, "Man, I'm exhausted and I'm depleted," but you look incredible during those. I mean, you still do, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You were going to go into on stage. How do you mentally prepare for those training sessions? Because brother, I see you leave everything in there, man. You leave everything. How do you mentally go after having your 9 to 5, having a wife, having a life, and then coming in and say, okay, well, now let me just, what goes on Sean's head when you go in there?
It's that desire to push yourself, that desire to see what can I make of myself this year? What's the best I can? We call it a package. What is the best package I can bring to the stage?
Okay.
And you ultimately you want to win. You want to place as high as you can. So I've been doing at least 2 competitions a year since we've known each other. And
Yeah.
it gets when you say like you look incredible, but you say you look depleted. You feel your worst.
Well, no, you told me that. You told me that you go, man, I'm depleted.
We
That's
call
what
it
yeah.
We call the look stage ready.
Okay.
That look is not sustainable. It's not healthy. Like you can't hold that look
For that long, right?
for a very long time.
How long does it last?
It depends on how long you let it last.
Well,
Like if I do 2 competitions a month apart,
yeah.
then I'm going to hold that conditioning.
You're gonna
from
hold
one to the
now.
next.
That's hard, isn't? That's harder than starting
is-
all over again, or is it?
That is harder.
Because you have to sustain on that deficit of. I mean, I'm assuming you're on a calorie deficit to look like as lean as and as
Yes.
muscular as possible. That's insane. I'm sure everybody wants to know this, and I'll put some pictures of Sean with his shirt off. Brother, what are your macros currently at this point right now?
Currently,
Yeah.
just round numbers: about 400 grams of carbs a day, about 250 grams of protein a day, and around 60, 70 grams of fat.
250 of protein and 60, 70. So I'm assuming that the 60 to 70 grams of fat is just natural fats from your protein.
From the protein.
So no cheeses, no all of that stuff.
No, I do have some avocado in there right now.
Okay. just to keep it in. 400 grams of carbs, 200. A lot of people are, and this is one of the things about how nutrition comes into place with health. A lot of people, like including myself, I'm surprised that you get to eat 400 grams of carbs because carbs are supposed to be the bad carbs. Mm-hmm. Explain a little bit why you are into this, if you can.
Yeah.
Into this.
Carbs are not the enemy.
Okay.
Your brain needs carbs to function. Actually.
Okay.
We say that we get prep brain the closer we get closer to a competition. When we're super depleted, you forget things. One of my friends accidentally took the little hand carry shopping cart basket. She took it home with her.
Okay.
Like you just do stupid stuff like that because you're not thinking. We're depleting ourselves by removing carbs.
Yes.
From our diet. So they're necessary in your daily macros. You just want to match them to what your goal is. So right now I'm in a growing phase, and so mine are quite high.
Okay.
If you're looking to lose fat, then you're gonna
adjust
less carbs, but never really zero. That's not a sustainable
right
diet.
Being in bodybuilding, having such a structured lifestyle, do you ever struggle with balancing with your social life? 'Cause you have to eat what you eat at a certain hour, or how do you balance that? Relationships and I know your wife. We see her at the gym all the time, but outside of that, how do you balance being social?
Well, if you ask my wife, she'd say, "What social life?"
That's true. That's true.
You're social at the gym, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's hard because not everyone understands.
Mm-hmm.
I will bring food with me if I have something that I absolutely must go to. If I travel for some reason, I bring my food with me.
Okay.
You can check food on a plane. You can bring food through security.
There's no excuse.
You can hide food in your pocket if you go to the movies. There are ways that you can make this work. And if all else fails, you can find things at most restaurants that aren't going to completely destroy
Ruin your diet.
what's happening.
Does your wife eat the same stuff that you eat?
Not exactly. We do share a lot of meals. I don't eat like strange food. I mean, we eat chicken, beef, we eat turkey, tilapia, salmon.
Sure.
So there's a lot of foods that we both share. I just a little bit more. I measure everything out, whereas she's not as
Strict on that.
strict about
So you prep meal every meal that you eat during the week.
I think that is a hack that is good for
makes total
so many
sense.
people, especially families. Like if you have kids that are depending on you for food, man, my wife and I, we go through 8 pounds of chicken a week.
Okay.
Make 8 pounds of chicken and put it in your fridge. And if your children are old enough to feed themselves, you know where the food is, kiddo.
No, it's actually I actually lost a little bit of weight, and the only reason why everything was already measured. And we prepped it, and it's the only way to do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to eat whatever. I'm just going to start snacking or whatever, whatever that is. This podcast is about entrepreneurship and stuff like that. And a lot of people in our audience, they have busy schedules, and we get into life. How do you tell people that have a busy schedule or we get busy with life to start going to the gym? What is the one thing that you could say? Hey, listen. Keep it healthy. How do you do that?
I could relate because I've been.
Yeah.
So 2019, I traveled 260 nights.
Wow, that's like almost a whole year.
Right. I mean, I had a job I wore a suit for. I was a busy guy. I was in the gym before I started work in the hotel. I would try and watch what I ate during the day. I would grab. You have so many resources like Instacart and Uber Eats that can bring you food.
Yeah.
If you're in a city that's strange to you.
Yes.
It just takes some advanced planning.
Right.
And it takes the desire. You will make time for what's important to you.
No, that makes
Right.
that makes total sense.
5 or 6 in the morning, people aren't really looking for you yet. So
No.
you can get away for an hour. And if you're disciplined about what you're doing in there, like if I went to the gym and I didn't talk to anybody, I just put my headphones on, pull my hoodie over my head, I could be in and out there in an hour.
Could you?
Easy.
You're a superstar at the gym, though. You come in, everybody wants to talk to you, brother. That's what it is.
I want to talk to people too.
That's right.
And I take time in between sets. I relax a little bit, but you can crank something out in 45 minutes to an hour reasonably.
Yeah.
And you do that, 3 times a week, you're golden.
Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, so you don't have to be a 6 times a week situation to.
No, I don't. I mean, the competitive athlete community and the personal trainer community is such a niche part of the population. They're a fraction of a percent.
Yeah.
So don't compare yourself to these people. Compare yourself to the general population. If you make it 3 days a week, you are already beating 99% of the population.
I was watching. That's so true. I was watching this Instagram thing that said, I don't know how true this is. He goes, the chances of you having a 6-pack. I mean, like you could become a millionaire first before having a 6-pack. That's how rare it is, to be in that kind of body fat and bodybuilding. So it makes a lot of sense. As we get older, we start noticing little aches here and there. And what are the biggest mistakes middle-aged professionals make when it comes to their health? Somebody like me. What is the one mistake that you see at the gym all the time?
Well, I'd say the number one mistake is using age as an excuse to not go.
Okay.
The more sedentary you become, that's a death sentence, man. Like you need to be more active as you get older.
Yeah.
The more muscle mass you have, it's proven you have better odds of recovering from a major illness.
Yeah.
Further down the line.
Yeah.
Muscle mass and dementia have a correlation.
Right.
Like it's so important for you. But for those who are doing the right thing and they are in the gym and caring for themselves, you got to be smart about how you train.
Yeah.
Because we're not 20 anymore.
Yes.
We don't bounce back as much, but you absolutely can still make progress. But choose exercises that are smart for your goals. It's not saying you don't go heavy, but prioritize form. Master that exercise before you start loading it up.
Hold on. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because what do they call it? Ego lifting when you
Sure.
when you do, and the form is not there. How important is form, but also how important is to load up to see muscle growth?
Both. So it's not the number of repetitions you do; it's the number of sets you do that take you close to failure. So
Okay.
musculature failure. Like you can no longer move in that manner that you're trying to. That's what's important, and you're averaging that throughout the week.
Oh, I see.
So I can pick up something super light and move it, 500 times,
And it's going to make
and not get any benefit from it because it was too light. It never took me to failure.
Right.
Conversely, I can pick up something way too heavy, not use form. I'm cheating. I'm using all these other.
Momentum
your body's
of moving.
smart,
Yeah,
right? It's
sure,
like, hey,
sure,
we're trying to
absolutely.
move something heavy. So
Yeah.
your body wants to recruit all these other muscles to help with that, and we're trying to outsmart the body. So if you pick up something way too heavy and the body compensates, I also didn't stimulate the muscle that I was trying to in the first place.
how long, just for those people who are not in this environment, but let's say I pick up a set of dumbbells and I'm at 10 repetitions at 20. And at 20, I'm feeling, at 20 pounds, I mean, you probably do that. That's too light for you. But for me, it's okay. So I'm doing 20 pounds and I'm checking the form. When do you go, I need to step up the weight?
You should have a goal of how many reps you want to do,
Okay.
and if you start exceeding that, it's too late.
Okay.
If you're just there, like if your last couple of reps are like impossible, but you're just squeezing them out, that's that sweet spot.
You know, okay, so is it 8 to 10 or is it 15 to 20 or do you alternate in order to confuse the muscle? That's a question that I've been wanting to ask you for a little while.
I love that phrase, confuse the muscle. Your
Or
muscle,
are you even, is that even a thing?
it's
No.
not a thing. Your muscles never get confused because they always do the same thing. They expand and contract. That's it. They don't know why they're doing it. They don't know if you're doing it with a barbell or a machine or a free weight. They have no idea.
So let me ask you this. Why is it when you move into a new set of equipment, let's say legs, all of a sudden the next day you're a little bit more sore and you go, I confused the muscle, but that's not it. That's completely wrong. Okay.
You confuse your brain.
Shit.
You just move. You just move differently, and so that's your body getting a different type of stimulus.
I see. So there's no confusion on the muscle.
The muscle's not getting confused now.
Well, there's a lot of guys that are listening to this podcast that are going to be listening to this and going to be like, well, I guess I was wrong. A lot of homeowners, they take pride in maintaining their home. But what about maintaining yourself? What do you recommend for those of us who work on a desk job all the time and we need to move and we find excuses not to do? You mentioned that 3 times a week will suffice to be in a healthier environment. Is that going to be enough to change your life pretty much?
It could absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The walking is really the hack. 10,000 steps a day.
Is that true?
Yeah. It's not even that number. It's just putting in that effort.
Put in the time.
Walking is a cheat code. The more activity you have during the day, the more calories it takes to sustain your life.
Yeah.
You want to burn as many calories as you can. And so walking, it's low impact. It doesn't fatigue you.
You just do it.
It keeps you mobile.
You just got to do it.
Cardiovascular health, like it does. So walking after meals helps with digestion even. That's going to help with bloating. Like there's all sorts of
there's a lot of benefits in
Just
walking.
Something as simple as walking.
And lifting a little bit of weight will change your. Which, by the way, I agree. One of the things that has helped me tremendously, and we were talking about before we started the podcast, is how I struggle a lot with stress. and anxiety and life in general attacks me a little bit more severe than other people. I tend to overthink. One of the things that I've learned is by me putting myself in a physical depletion when I'm at the gym, it clears the noise.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you as well?
Yeah. It's a zen.
It's a zen situation, right?
Situation.
So
and stress is the enemy of weight loss. There's hormone in your body, cortisol, that's correlated with stress levels.
you see what I'm saying, honey? Stop. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Yeah. So talk
Stressed out
about
people
that.
have a harder time
Yeah.
losing weight. It also impacts sleep, and sleep is where you recover from training, and also if your sleep quality is poor, you're going to have a harder time losing weight.
How about another question? Because I've been measuring everything that I eat, and I think I'm in a calorie deficit, but I don't see the scale go down. Have you heard that before from people? Explain are we measuring it wrong, or are we just eating too much, or what are we doing?
Could be measuring it wrong. To be honest.
Is that true?
Just because I see it so often.
Okay.
People forget to count things. They forget condiments count.
Condiments count, man.
Condiments count, or they're not measuring as accurately as they could, or they also might be using the wrong metric. If you are looking at macros for meat, they're giving it to you in raw, not cooked.
How do you measure it?
You want to use the you want to use the raw calculation.
Oh wow!
And you need to be able to understand how to convert that.
Explain what do you mean? Because what we do is we cook the meat.
Yeah.
And then once it's cooked, that's how we measure it. Mm-hmm. Is that wrong or?
It's not, as long as you're making that conversion.
We don't make no
so
conversion.
Like if you think about when you cook like a pound of beef.
Yeah.
It doesn't weigh a pound anymore once it's cooked.
It doesn't.
You've lost that water.
Yeah.
And so that weight is going to be different from what was on that label.
Oh, the macros are going to be different.
Macros are going to be different.
Oh, shoot. I've been eating, no wonder I don't lose weight. I've been eating more. We're eating too much. You know, when people, I do real estate, and people invest in their homes, but sometimes they have a hard time investing in their bodies without knowing how important it is. What do you think of people hiring a personal trainer? And that's one. But two, choosing the right personal trainer, I think is more important, because I follow you on Instagram, and I saw a couple of posts that you posted a lot the other day where you were seeing some newbie trainers just give some very broad advice to their clients. How do you choose, man? For somebody that's new, you know.
Yeah. You want to choose someone who you sync well with,
Okay.
like who's going to understand your goals. It's a personality thing. You're going to spend a lot of time with this person, so you want to make sure you click. Beyond that, you want to make sure you also like their style.
Yeah.
You know, so some people are going to be a little bit more aggressive than others. Some people are going to be more strict than others. So what type of personality are you? Do you match up with that person?
That makes a lot of sense.
And then referrals, you know, talk to, look at their success stories.
Well, I also like to say, I like to look at the trainer myself.
There's a visual business card.
No, let's talk about it, right? I mean, if you're going to hire me as a trainer, there's going to be some questions that people are going to say, but versus asking you as a trainer, they're going to be like, well, yeah, I mean, I believe what he says. You know what I mean? I've always thought that way. Is that true?
I think there's first impressions are important, right?
100%.
Whether you're doing real estate or you're doing
100%.
personal training,
100%.
you want to present yourself as best you can. So if you look good and you feel good, you're going to represent that home that you're selling.
Yes.
Better.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right?
1,000%.
And if I look good and feel good, that's going to visually be portrayed when someone's looking at me as a potential trainer.
Do you do personal training?
I do.
Do you do personal training? Normally, when somebody hires you for personal training, what is the minimum amount of time that they expect to, or you expect them to be with you in order to see any kind of real change?
I hate the like 90-day challenges and sort of thing.
No, because this is life. Yeah.
That's setting someone up for something that's unsustainable, and they will probably fall off after those 90 days. So I'm always very real with somebody. Let's talk about what exactly are you trying to achieve first, and then we can talk about realistically how long that's actually going to take. I think before you really see something, and you've given it a fair chance, is 90 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just to give it a fair chance, but I wouldn't expect to be, completely transformed. Because
Right.
I'm
Takes
looking
years.
I'm looking to try and transform someone's habits, so they can carry this on and keep growing from it.
I saw a post that you posted that said, if you're looking to see when the diet ends, then it's already done. Like you're not
don't end.
even it's a lifestyle. It's a
Yeah.
life change. It's a habit change situation. Well, brother, I really want to thank you for coming in today. I'm gonna tag you to guys for if you guys want to train with a monster. My man over here, he's great. He's super nice, super approachable. And brother, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it, man. You're the man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man.